Hello, 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 hello. I had to wait to drop finish. Um, I want to talk about some things. And I'll wait till a few people get in. Smash that like button on y'all way coming in. Or dislike, it don't matter. Hello, 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 hello. Hello. Had me a nice little workout today. How y'all doing? Come on in, Mr. Wise. How you doing? Patty, my beautiful sister, love you. Bell May, beautiful. How you doing? How you doing? Y'all, come on in, come on in. I'm gonna talk about some things. First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to Chasing Truth. Y'all, if y'all haven't, check out her. I think the first one she did a little 7 minute video. Her daughter, her baby plays a string instrument, and it's a string quartet that they play. Awesome, awesome, y'all, very awesome. Check that out. I mean, really check that out. I love things like that. If y'all never been to an opera, or y'all, Tammy Beautiful, how you doing? If y'all never been to an opera, or never been to a Broadway play, or never been to a orchestra or a string quartet or a drum line, I ask that y'all go out and venture out and look at those things. You will really truly be amazed. Um, Tr- Chasing Truth, she has a video of her daughter playing that a string. They're in a string quartet. They was performing against other string quartets, and it is really awesome to see young kids like that play. Welcome y'all, those that's watching. Press that like button. And secondly, earlier this week, I put out my positive challenge. For those that's taking the positive challenge, I thank you all for continuing it. The beautiful, beautiful, very beautiful Miss KPR had put it out. And Miss Douglas had challenged all of us that was in her live to do the to actually do the positive challenge, and I accepted it, and I put it out to everybody in my that was on my live that day to do it, and I challenge you all to do it, and to keep it up, the positiveness, and that's what I'm going to be talking about today as well, positiveness. Affirmations. TG79, my big brother, how you doing? Earlier this week I had put out about my Christmas gingerbread giveaway. Don't forget that we are in the month of December. It started November 27th. Those that want to do it. The beautiful KPR. I was just speaking about you in the positive challenge that you put out. And I thank you for putting that out. Y'all, that's who put it out. The anti-Jeffrey McCray community. She put that out there. I thank you for putting it out there, love. I really do. That's what we need to focus on, y'all. She put that out, and I want to make sure I give proper acknowledgement to the proper person who put that out there, and I am doing it. And I challenge you all to do it and keep doing it. Yeah, we may have some encounter some negativity, but you know what? I had a negative thought today, and I had to work it out. And if you could find something else to do to work out a negative thought instead of bringing it on YouTube, that probably will be better. And that way you can keep the positiveness going. Find something to turn that positive, that negative into something positive. Uh, I also put out my walkaholic challenge that's going to take place the second week after the Martin Luther King holiday, and those that want to participate in it, get out there, because you know we had that Thanksgiving and we had that Christmas, so you know we've been eating, and we put on something that we shouldn't have put on, so naturally we want to get off what we need to get off. And I challenge you all to be a part of the Walkaholic Challenge, and the giveaway is going to be a Fitbit. Yeah, I know it's gonna be cold everywhere, but hey, you know what? You got to get out there and do what you got to do. Trust me, it been many a days I was in when before I had retired out the military. I had to get out there and do physical fitness in the cold, and trust and believe it was cold out there. So, just getting out there walking. Once you walk, your body heat up. That's what when you initially start. Yeah, you're gonna be cold, but once you get out there, your body will heat up. It will. Um, and then I had put out my recreation of me doing some things with the book club. I'm not going to do my book club because um that that idea was actually brought to me, and I don't want to step on anyone's toes nowhere. Period. I like to add my spin to a lot of things, and I don't like to step on nobody's toes, good, bad, and indifferent. I had a lot of creative ideas that I shared with someone, and unfortunately, uh, I want to um, work on something else, so I'll be working on another project. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go a different direction with something else. I don't want to. I want to try to keep the positiveness going and stuff and everything. So um, I'm I'm going to be working on something else and come up with another idea that I had. I was talking to my husband about, and he's going to uh, put a little spin on it and help me with that and stuff and everything. Okay, I want to talk about affirmations. Affirmations, we all know, um, when you get up in the morning, always try to set yourself up with something positive. Say something positive about your day, what you're gonna do and stuff. Affirmations are the assertions that something exists or is true, right? And I had spoke about this before on Sean panel a while back, and I'm gonna read this to you. Um, the story of weeds. And I think this has a play because we all have weeds. And at some point in time, we allow our weeds to grow out of control. And no matter what your weeds is, your weeds could be all different types of things. But we allow it to get out of control. And we have to clean those weeds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the story of weeds, okay? And it goes like this. One day, a woman went into her backyard to pick fresh vegetables from her garden for an upcoming dinner party. She loved entertaining guests at her home and sharing fresh vegetables from her garden. She stepped onto the back porch and gasped. To her surprise, there were weeds growing so tall that she could hardly see her beloved vegetables. She was overwhelmed with the dull yellows and browns that overshadowed the lush red, green, purples colors she was accustomed to. With a great sigh, she stepped off the porch and started toward the garden. Sifting through the weeds, she began to gather her vegetables. As she placed them in her pail, she thought to herself, I know I didn't miss that much gardening. It has only been a few days. In fact, it had been about 2 weeks. Her mind was filled with an abundance of thoughts such as, why in the world didn't I get out here and pull these weeds when they started growing? Now I have a jungle and can hardly see. Why are these weeds so high? What are my vegetables going to taste like? How can I stop this from happening? What is it going to take? She filled her pail and started back toward the house. In the kitchen, she poured the vegetables in the sink to wash them. They are not as bright as they usually are. I am cutting. I know. She said. She shrugged her shoulders and began preparing the meal. Once she put the final touches on her dessert, she ran upstairs to get ready for the party. All the while, she was still thinking about the effect the state of her garden had on the color of her vegetables. The doorbell began to ring and guests were arriving. Each of her friends were very happy to see her and remembering the last dinner party. They were anxious to see the meal on the outside. The woman looked very calm and inviting, but on the inside she was a mess. She thought, how is this food going to taste with those vegetables from my overgrown garden? She began to panic, but in the true nature of a woman, she was cool and calm and outwardly. The party was well underway, and the woman was running to and from the kitchen, making sure that everything was moving along smoothly. Well, everything but her thoughts. They were a mile a minute. Focused on the condition of the garden from earlier that day. The cocktails were served, then the appetizers and the main course was heading to the table. She excused herself from her guests for a quick moment, and to powder her nose was her reason. She rushed into the bathroom and said a quick prayer. Father, thank you for all my friends and loved ones who came from near and far to enjoy this dinner. Please don't let the weeds get in the way. Amen. She ran back downstairs just in time to bless the food. As her guests began to dig in and eat their food, she looked at every fork to mouth motion she could catch and said to herself, don't let the weeds get in the way. When we accept the hard truth of where we are, then we have the power to change it. That is a very true statement. If we accept the hard truth, we have the power to change that. Today, I accepted the hard truth, and I have the power to change that hard truth that I accepted. So, my weeds this week was I took some time this week and cleaned out all 4 of my closets. Yes, y'all. I cleaned out all 4 of my closets, boxing up clothes, shoes, purses, and hats that I wanted to donate. As I was doing that, I realized the accumulated cluster of clothes, shoes, purses, and hats in my closet grows like the weeds in my garden. I clean those closets yearly, and the more I box up and donate, it clutters back up. And the clutter shows back up not long after I donate. So I constantly have to work on keeping the clutter at bay. So you would say, Miss Classy, how is that a weed? That's a weed because I'm a shopaholic. I am a shopaholic. I'm constantly shopping. I'm constantly buying things. No matter how much I clean out my closet, it's going to always clutter up. That is a weed for me. So I have to constantly keep my closet at bay. And I can't never keep my closet at bay because I'm always fighting to get into it. It's like shoes everywhere, clothes be, and I'm struggling to pull the clothes back to get out of outfit. Some outfits I was giving away that I had bought, didn't even realize that I still had price tags on them that I hadn't even gotten to wear yet. And I'm like, oh, you gotta go. Oh, you gotta go. And the moment I start donating everything, all I do is turn back around and clutter those closets right back up. So that is a weed in my life. Everybody have different weeds in their life. The weeds could be items in your house. You could be a person that can sit there and actually be a hoarder. That's another weed in my life. I'm a hoarder. I got everything from the time I came in the military all the way up until now in trunks. And I go through those trunks. Me and my husband, we pull out trunks after trunks after trunks. If I go back there to that back garage and I sat there and just literally showed y'all the trunks, those trunks are everything from the time, 20 plus years, maybe even 30 plus years of stuff that I refuse to get rid of. And I go through it. My husband said, all right, we're going through and we finna do get rid of stuff. You finna get rid of it. And every time I open it up, I got these trash bags sitting there. And I said, okay, baby, I'm finna go through it. And I started going through it. And I'm like, oh, I remember this. Now I'm going to keep that. Oh, I remember this. Now I'm going to keep that. And before I knew it, it was just a waste of time. And I'm pushing those trunks back in there. That's a hoarder. Those are weeds. You know, it could be your friends that you have around you. It really is. It's hard to let things go. And you don't know what your weeds are. So you have to constantly keep the weeds in your garden cut low. Unfortunately for me, I'm still learning how to cut those weeds, like letting go of things. You know I got to get rid of that stuff in them trunks. I know I got to get rid of that stuff in that garage. But the more I keep going through it, the more I'm like, no, I need this. I remember this. This is sentimental. This is memorable memorabilia for me. I can't get rid of it. I can't let it go. And I refuse to let it go. You know, so that is a weed for me. Just like shopping is a weed for me. You know, what's another weed for me? Another weed for me is Netflix, Hulu Plus, all those different things. Those, and I have to constantly cut those things out of my life, you know, because I know I could be doing something else other than sitting there, than watching every series sitcom. When one end, I'm fine. There's probably not a sitcom series that Amazon. Why do I need all those paid things? Why do I need all, and when I can't find, and I get so pissed off when the series done ended, then I got to hurry up and run over here to Hulu Plus to see is it playing. If it's not there, then I got to run to Amazon. And then if it's not there, then I go to my Blockbuster because I know somebody done sat there and done recorded it there. Those are weeds. And we all have different types of weeds. It could be the company that you keep. It could be whatever. Those are weeds that we have to try to keep our garden cut low. And we don't realize that the weeds that we have, it could be the food. I'm going to tell you, I'm a Chinese junkie eating person. I will hit up every Chinese. I'm a fast food eating person. I will go to every restaurant and eat to keep for cooking. Those are weeds that I got to get rid of. Those weeds are bad habits. They can be potentially negative habits. So I have to turn those negative habits into positive habits. And we have to learn how to keep our garden cut low. So after I had sat down and wrote down my weeds for the week, right? My day one affirmation was, When someone treats you like an option, help them narrow their choices by removing yourself from the equation. Hello, half pint love. How you doing, beautiful? I'm going to say that again. When someone treats you like an option, help them narrow their choices by removing yourself from the equation. You're not an option. You're not an option. And when you start being treated like an option, like, okay, it's like this. If I go out and I do this with someone, but then I have several other people that I could do that with, but I know this person has been there and I know I can do this with this person, but then I start treating that person like, okay, well, you're gonna have to, I have options between, I can go with you, I can go with you, I can go with you, I can go with you. At some point in time, when do that individual say, okay, well, you got all these options, I'm not gonna be your option, so let me go ahead and remove myself so that you go ahead and narrow down your choices. You just won't have me as one of your options. We all have to. Nightbot time, you out, KPR? Hold on, I'm gonna fix that for you, love. We all have to realize that in life brings us choices. Okay, life brings us choices. And we have choices on what it is that we will allow and we will not allow. But when a person make you feel as if you are an option, it's time to move around and have them narrow down their choices or their other options. It's time to move around, because I would never be nobody option. You would never be nobody option. And I teach my kids the same thing. Hey, I teach them that all the time. When you are being treated like an option, hey, help that person that's treating you like that to narrow their choices down and remove yourself from that equation or that situation. Life is like a beautiful garden. Remember to pull the weeds and water the flowers. If you don't water your flowers, they will wither away and die. It's the same thing with life. If you don't take that negative out your life and you constantly have negative in it, what's the purpose of living? You're just there. You're just walking around. You're basically withering away. Because at some point in time, somebody's going to get tired of all that negativity. And then what? You're just going to go and clutch on to something else. So life, yeah, treat your life like it's your garden. And keep those weeds pulled. And make sure the flowers in your life is watered. How do you do that when you're close to someone? You know what? I'm going to tell you, half pint. I was best friends with this individual for over 17 years. We was very best friends. And you know what? The worst thing that ever happened was to know that I confided in that person. And that person confided in me. We was I mean, I will ride or die for that person. That person will ride or die, or I thought that person would ride or die for me and stuff and everything. But you know, I realized sometimes you don't know who friend or who foe. So that's why I say If it's not my kids and my husband and God above, I really truly don't have friends. My sisters that I know is my sisters, oh, I can pick up the phone at any given time. Can they turn? Yes. That's life. Those are the weeds. Because sometimes people can become jealous. Sometimes people can become hateful. Sometimes people can become angry. And when that happened between me and my very best friend, I didn't know how to take it. I really didn't. And I sat there, and I remember when I was in church and I had went up there, they said, anybody need prayer, come up. And I went up and I had prayed about it, and I prayed about it, and I prayed about it. And I was sitting there and I was like, how can this individual do this to me? How can they do this to me? You know? And it was sad because I used to help when they fall back, the family turn on them, their friends turn on them. They would call in the middle of the night, boo-hoo crying. I don't have the money to pay my mortgage, this, that, and the other. And not a problem. I'm getting ready to send your money over to your mortgage. Had the account, the login, paid the mortgage, all that good stuff. You know? And the most hurtful thing that had ever happened, it just happened. And I was like, and I sat there and I had told my husband, my husband said, wow, of all people, I never thought you all would ever fall out. To a point to where I never talked to the individual about it. I just stopped talking to her. I didn't confront her. I didn't ask her. I didn't do anything. But it was real hurtful. That was over 17 years ago. Do I feel bad about it? No. Can what have been done be undone? Yeah. I just feel I am too much of a trustworthy person. And I have too much of a heart and a caring heart at that. That the more I sit back and the more I think about it, that was the most hurtful thing that could have ever been done. You know, and it really was. And my husband sat there and he said, you know, I really wish you and her could really sit down and talk. We're not close friends, not even best friends. Every once in a while, she'll send me something on Facebook, like one of those gifts or something like that. You know, what is it? Happy Thanksgiving, happy birthday, or something like that. And I'll sit there and say thank you, but we're not close like that anymore. We're not even close like that anymore. I mean, none. And it's a hurtful, it is a very hurtful feeling. That is a very hurtful feeling. And the only thing I could tell you when it comes to your friend is, if it's a way that you could sit down and you could talk to your friend, if it's not, if she didn't sleep with your husband, mess over your finances, or none of that stuff. And like my friend, like I said, she never, none of that stuff. And that's why I say I didn't pick up the phone with her. None of that. I just stopped talking to her. I just stopped. Because as a best friend, I just feel, some things could have been done differently than what she had did. And that was the most hurtful thing that she have ever done. And I can't be a close friend to her like that because of the situation of what she did. And that was hurtful because she hurt somebody else. And I can't do that. Weeds rob essential moistures, nutrients, sunlight, and plants. When you go out to your garden and your garden is full of weeds, it does. It robs essential moisture, nutrients, and sunlight of the plants. It's just like friends. Friends rob you of your peace, prosperity, and happiness. They could be cancerous to you. Just like negativity, it can be cancerous to you. Just like shopping, it can be cancerous to you. Just like trying to live like the Joneses. If you don't have that money, stop trying to spend what you don't have. That's another weed that a lot of people may have. I know for me, when I didn't have, I spent what I had. And I gave my kids before I even did for myself. I didn't live above my means. I didn't go out. I didn't party. I didn't do none of that stuff because my children always came first. People don't understand that there's different things when it comes to being robbed of the essential nutrients, being robbed of the moisture of your life, being robbed of the sunlight of your life, being robbed of the happiness of your life. And if you have to get up mad in the morning, pissed off, that's because you went mad, angry, and pissed off the night before. There's no reason why you should even be doing that. If you got to be around people that keep you mad, angry, and pissed off, they're robbing you of your happiness. They're robbing you of your positivity. When do you start going back and removing yourself from the equation? A lot of people don't know how to remove themselves from the equation. But the question is, if I remove myself from the equation, they will stop talking to me. They'll look at me some kind of way. They won't be there for me. They'll do this. They'll do that. You know what? It goes back to this. If people don't realize that you're trying to make a positive change in a positive direction, they were never there for you in the first place. If they're still doing the same thing, they were never there for you. They were never your friend. I always say you have to know who's your friend and who's foe. I tell my children that all the time. Know who friend and who foe. Weeds in life can rob you of the energy, beauty, and positivity you need to reach your full potential. Your root system can become weak and prevent you from thinking in your environment. Weeds in life can rob you of the energy, beauty, and positivity you need to reach your full potential. And it can. It can keep you from reaching your full potential. When you surrounded by negativity, at what point do you reach your full positive potential? You won't. You would never reach it. You're not going to even remotely get to it. If I'm constantly sitting there putting my son down and telling him, you know what, you're not going to amount to this, you're not going to amount to that, you're not going to amount to this, you're not going to be this, you're not going to be that. At what point in time will he reach his full potential with me constantly being negative to him? He's not. Because I'm constantly being negative. I'm a weed to him. So in order for him to get rid of that weed, in his mind, he's thinking, oh, I can't wait till I get grown. I can't wait till I get grown. I'm going to show her I can't wait till I get grown. And sometimes we as parents have a tendency to do that. That's why I always tried to be a positive influence when it came to my children and when it comes to the things that I do in the community. And although my kids didn't like the fact that I kept them busy, oh, they hated that. They hated the fact that when one sport ended, another sport started. So they probably looked at that as a weed. God, I have no freedom. I can't do this. I can't hang out. I can't. No. Because I wanted to constantly keep them away from negativity, although they was going to hear it and be around it and see it when they was in school. But as long as mama was in the picture, I had to do that. And it's the same thing that you have to apply to your daily life when you on the job, when you around your friends, when you out in the public. You have to do that. Now that's what I'm talking about. And getting beat as a child until you left the house. Exactly. Getting beat until you left the house. One thing I do know, and the biggest weed my kids probably tell you, was them going on a punishment. They hated punishments with a passion. So they always tried to do the right thing. Except for my one daughter, she stayed in trouble all the time. But she stayed in trouble for little small stuff like not doing her chores, which was a weed. And stuff like that. It wasn't nothing major that she said. It was always minor stuff, always around the house that she didn't do. And she always stayed on the punishment. So when the punishment time come, oh, they didn't like that. They did not like that. When you asked who did that, oh, they was quick to tell. She did. He did. I ain't have to worry about that because they were quick. We're not finna do this punishment with you. You finna do this punishment by yourself. Oh, they were quick to tell. He did. He did this at this such time. When you had walked out the door, he had walked in here and did this. And then after he had did this, he went in there and he knew he was wrong. And I was sitting there watching him. Oh, they're going to sit there and tell it. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Let's take it to trial. But we have to remember, life can be robbed. Life can rob you of the energy, beauty, and positivity you need to reach your full potential. Don't allow nothing, and I mean nothing, to rob you of your beauty and positivity, especially when it comes to reaching your full potential. That's on your job, that's in life, that's around no matter who. Because once that is gone, It's not hard to get back, but then you start finding out who was there for you, who wasn't, who got promoted over you, why you did it, why is this happening. You start questioning yourself. Why is this happening? Why I can't get promoted? Why I can't get a raise? Why I can't find a job? Why I can't raise my credit score? Why I can't get this car that I really want? Why I got to settle for less? Because you're robbing yourself. You're allowing the weeds to rob you of your energy, your beauty, and your positivity. So what happens when the weeds in your life create an environment that limit, control, and choke the life out of you? You fall. You fail. You live life just to allow the weeds to conquer you. You went through trials and tribulations just to allow the weeds in your life to allow you to fail. It choked the life out of you. You see those women who angry, bitter, don't have family around them. They grow old, they pass away. Nobody, they throw them in the nursing home. They don't have family to come visit them. They don't have they're just angry all the time. They want to fight you. You know, that the funeral time come, the family members is like, oh well, you know what? They come down. They don't even give them the proper memorial that they're supposed to give them, because guess what? They allowed the weeds in their life. They allowed the weeds to choke the life out of them. It limited them. The weeds limited them. They had no control over the weeds in their life. They created an environment that was nothing but weeds. And that's how they lived their whole life. The weeds of negativity, bitterness, and darkness weighed you down and could cause you to wither into a person you don't recognize. Every day will become a struggle, and eventually the wind of negativity will overtake you. That is true. And these are all the things that I am actually reading out of my own book that I wrote down. My day one reflections of what I thought was weeds. And I'm actually reading from my own handwriting of what I had wrote down. You know, the weeds of negativity, bitterness, and darkness weigh you down and can cause you to wither into a person you don't recognize. When the negativity, when you have allowed your weeds to grow so high that you become so negative and so bitter that that darkness weigh you down, that you don't even recognize who you are, you got a problem. That means you have did no maintenance in your garden. None whatsoever. You have done no maintenance in your garden. You just here. Everybody is put on earth for a reason. They have a mission. But when your mission become obscured, that you don't know why you here, and you allow the weeds of negativity to allow you to become so bitter that darkness creep in and you become so dark on the inside. Because you could be beautiful on the outside and be very dark on the inside, that it weigh you down, that the real you you don't even recognize no more. It's time to make a change. It is time to make a change. And when you can't make a change on that, something's wrong. Something's very wrong. Every day will become a struggle. And it will. You'll be struggling trying to figure out how to pay your bill. You'll be struggling how to figure out how to get up out the bed. You'll be struggling how to figure out how to go and go to work. You'll be struggling trying to figure out how to maintain on a daily basis. You'll be that hermit in that house that no one sees, where the mailman your mailbox is so full, they have to bring your mail to you because you don't wither away. You're struggling. You're struggling to deal with how you allow your weeds to grow so out of control that even you don't want to be around you. So if you don't want to be around you, what make you think anybody else want to be around you? The weeds can be drinking all the time. An alcoholic. An alcoholic would never admit they're alcoholic because they don't think they got a problem. They think they're having fun and enjoying life when that ain't nothing but weeds growing in their garden. Depression, anxiety, all those are weeds. And sometimes you have to cut back those weeds to find out what is getting you like that. To find out what is making you so depressed. To find out what is making you so angry. To find out what is causing your anxiety, what is causing your stress. Don't get to a point to where you don't even recognize who you are. Because I always recognize who I am. And eventually the wind of negativity will overtake you. And it will. If you allow yourself the negativity to overcome you, that you don't even recognize yourself, that life becomes a struggle, that negativity will eventually